Welcome to our third annual holiday nail art series with me, Sarah, from Sarah's Nail Secrets.
And Talia from Talia's Nail Tales. This year we're doing 12 designs, but we're going to space them out a little bit different so the series lasts until Christmas.
So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a tutorial. Let's get started.
Welcome to day 9, everyone. I can't believe we're this far into the series already, but day 9 was titled Tropical Christmas. This was one that I'm not going to lie, I completely struggled with, and thankfully my client helped me figure out a really cute design. Let me show you the process. This client was featured in day 1 where we did the really bling snowflake nails, and we used some of the Ugly Duckling Shticket to adhere these Swarovski crystal pixies that we made. And I find the best way to get off big chunks of clusters like this is to just dip your client in a little bit of acetone for not very long. I hate soaking my clients in acetone, so I really don't let them do it for very long. But I find that because this is a gel product that does soak off, it makes it a really easy to remove the crystals if you do this. So I do try and do this whenever I use the Ugly Duckling Shticket. Then I take an old pair of cuticle nippers and I just nip all of the crystals off as well as the pixies, but I wanted to leave this part in so that you guys could see how I do remove big clusters like this, and also to let you know how well the crystal pixies hold up using the Ugly Duckling Shticket. I'm so glad I found something that works well for it. Just want to chat a little bit about the concept of this nails before we go into the actual tutorial of it. So whenever I do kind of beachy vacation tropical type of nails, I like to do a nail that has a lot of depth and dimension that almost looks like water, which is what's on her pinkies as well as her thumbnails. So I'm going to show you guys my tips for doing that. But because this design is considered tropical Christmas, I did want to make sure that I was adding some other Christmas elements to it as well, including the ornaments and the presents, the snowflakes, the sugars. So that's kind of the concept of it. Now let's get into the tutorial and I'll show you how we'll do it. We're going to start with the watery type of nails first. We are going to use a bunch of different products, including Light Elegance's Peacock here, and I'm first just going to place this down kind of in a random pattern on the nails. Then I'm going to go in with this loose glitter from the Nail Team, and it is one of Sarah's Collab mixes, one of her Mermaid mixes, and I'm just going to drop this into the loose glitter here. Then I'm going to take some of Moon from Light Elegance, which is one of my favorite kind of see-through blue glitter gels, and I'm just going to put this on the tip. I'm going to take some of this Dazzling glitter from the Glitter Boutique and just drop that in while it's wet as well. Then I'm going to take Amore's Breezy Blue, which is a nice transparent blue color, and put this at the cuticle as well with a combination of Light Elegance's Malibu, which is really nice because it's got some matte glitters in it that almost look like pebbles. And while this is all wet, I'm going to drop some more loose glitters in, including some green mylar, some turquoise type of loose glitters, as well as these blue loose glitters too. I use a bunch of different random loose glitters and elements whenever I do these type of watery nails because I find it gives a lot of depth and dimension and really makes it pop once you get the clear gel on top of it. I'm going to do the exact same thing on her thumbnail, but I'm going in a complete random pattern. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I just want to make sure that I've got some turquoise elements, some blue elements, as well as some like see-through glitter elements as well. And once I have all of my glitter gels down is usually when I will start to drop in my different loose glitters as well. And I don't necessarily like match and coordinate the colors with the particular glitter mix that I'm putting down. I just kind of drop them randomly, picking up some mylar, some loose glitter, all the different colors. And again, once you get the gel layer on top of this, all those loose glitters are really going to pop and it looks like really pretty glittery water when it's all said and done. I did want a color that looked kind of like sand, so I'm going to take a lot of gelato, which you guys have seen so much in my videos lately. I just love this color. It is great for backgrounds of nails and you can put different art elements on top of it. I love how it looks kind of like a sandy nude color, and at this point when I'm applying it, I honestly didn't really know what I was going to put on top of it, so I decided to do it on the middle fingers as well as the pointer fingers on my client's hands. My client and I decided to go in with this turquoise type of color called Longboard from Light Elegance, and I'm going to put this all over her ring finger because I knew I was going to do some Swarovski crystals on top of it. And I also wanted to go in with kind of a coral color because I just love turquoise blues and corals together. They just complement each other so well because they sit opposite of each other on the color wheel. And this color that I decided to use, I honestly cannot remember. Melon Madness, is that what it was? I think this one's called Melon Madness, but I will double check and leave it in the description box below. Either way, I think it's discontinued, sorry. But it coordinated really nicely with Longboard, so that's why I decided to put it all over her ring finger. Again, we're going to do Swarovski crystal elements on top of it. On the pointer fingers, I knew on one finger I wanted ornaments kind of dangling from her cuticles. So I'm going to go in with some of the glitters in the 3 different colors that we used and just drop some loose glitters on top of it. I decided that I also wanted a coral glitter in here as well. So we are putting the coral glitter down with some other glitter, loose glitter too. The coral glitter we're using is called Mango Crush from Light Elegance. It's a really nice coral color. It doesn't look as orange as it does in the container once you put it on. So on the other pointer finger, I decided that I wanted to do presents. So I'm putting the glitter down so that it's kind of in a square shape, but I'm also going to take my brush and swipe lines to make it look a little bit more harsh. It doesn't overly matter how harsh this looks right now because we are going to go in with some paint and kind of frame it a little bit as well. The loose glitter I decided to use here is from the Glitter Boutique, and it coordinated really nicely with that mango glitter gel. We're going to take some of the peacock and put some loose glitters in it too. For the third present, I'm going to use Light Elegance's Mallow Blue at the tip. And again, I wasn't too sure how this was going to look, but once we have our like black lines to kind of frame it, it'll make a lot more sense. I wanted to show you guys something really quick here. So this nail was really chunky with glitter, and once I put the gel on top of it, it was a hot mess. Like, I just got her to cure it because I knew that I could finish file it into a better shape, but this is not what I recommend doing when you're doing your gels on top, just making it a hot mess like this. Thankfully, my e-file is really great at kind of taking away some of that bulk, and I know that I'm going to be stamping on top of it, so if I'm filing out some of those glitters, it's not the end of the world as well. I did want to leave this part of the video in though, just in case any of you guys struggle with getting the perfect application with your gel. Sometimes it just doesn't happen and you need to finish file it. That being said, this was a lot of waste, so if you do apply your gel so you don't have to do so much finish filing, it's a lot easier and you use less product. But sometimes in this case, it was just a complete error on my part, but I did want to make sure to leave it in because, you know, sometimes you apply the gel and you're like, oh my gosh, this looks like a hot mess. You can finish file it into a better shape using your e-file, using your file. Side note, these files from Light Elegance, the Lexi files, are my hands down favorite files right now. I just think they work so well, especially if you have a lot of finish filing like this particular nail. I pulled some coral and some turquoise stamping polishes as well as this fabulous flamingo stamping plate from Clear Jelly because I wanted to do some kind of tropical flowers on the middle finger, and I wanted to do them in turquoise as well as coral. So when I'm stamping these flowers down, I'm either going from like light to dark or dark to light in my colors, and I actually alternate depending on the nail that I'm doing. So on this one with the blue, we went from light to dark, and I did the same thing with the coral, going from like a light and then to a medium and then to kind of a darker coral. I didn't really have a dark coral stamping polish though, so we used this kind of pinky coral one. And then on the other finger with the coral, I'm doing I like to mix it up. So because it's like a 3-layer, I'm gonna kind of alternate how I apply the stamping polishes here. But the thing that I like about the Clear Jelly stamping plates is that they are layered, and flowers like this that don't require an outline, it doesn't super matter how you apply them because there's a lot of depth to the particular flowers. But ultimately, I knew I wanted turquoise and coral flowers to match the turquoise and coral nails that we did on the other ones. Clear Jelly came out with these 2 new stamping plates this year that have a bunch of different snowflakes on them, so I wanted to try them out to see if I liked them versus the In the Frosty Air one that I usually use on my clients. I really liked 144 because there's a lot of detail to the snowflakes, but you can also layer them and stamp them inside of each other or just use them on their own, which is how I prefer to do them. And whenever I do these kind of watery nails, I love stamping stuff on top of them. So if I'm doing actual vacation nails that are not tropical Christmas, I will usually stamp some mermaid scales on top of this, and this looks really good. But because we are doing like a tropical Christmas set, I wanted to just stamp snowflakes on it instead. So on the pointer fingers where we have the ornaments and we have the presents, I wanted to add some little accents with this swirly plate, which is Baubles and Bells, I believe, from Clear Jelly Stamper. It's my favorite one to add these type of little swirling details to these images. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the ornaments and the presents, and this will all make sense again once we top gloss at the very end. Also, you don't need to do this. You could just leave it and just have the glitter going through as well. Whenever I do like any sort of fine line detailed work, I prefer to use watercolors, so I'm going to use my Prima Marketing watercolor palette as well as this Winsor & Newton brush. Now this one I don't usually show you guys in tutorials. It's kind of a finer detail brush, and I don't like this one as much. I wish I would have switched to the other one that I show you guys in my favorite brush video, which you guys would have seen yesterday. I prefer using that brush because it has a little bit of a thicker head, which you would think that it would be harder to do finer lines, but I find it a little bit easier to do the finer lines. So I kind of struggled with this particular brush, which you guys can kind of see here. The lines aren't as clean as I would have preferred them to. And also on this particular nail, I'm not entirely sure if I loved the black outline. I almost wish I would have done a white instead, but I did want them to look like hanging ornaments, and I wasn't too sure if white would really work for it. I always say if you make a mistake with watercolor that it can be fixed. So because I did my outline a little bit bigger on this particular ornament, I'm just going to go in with some of the glitter gel that I used and kind of fill it in, and that will kind of fix that mistake. For the present nail, I'm doing the exact same thing, which is a lot easier because it's just straight lines, and I'm just outlining the presents here. Now, when I was doing the bottom present, I meant to outline it a little bit differently than I ended up doing, so I didn't allow enough room to do a little bow on top, which is kind of what I wanted. So instead, I'm just doing black ribbon. If I was to go in and do this again, I would probably add a little bit more like color detail to that ribbon and not leave it black. And then on top of the other presents, I'm going to do these little tiny bows. And when you're doing fine detail work like this, if you hold your brush straight up and down like a pencil, it's a little bit easier to kind of do the detailed work as opposed to dragging it, I find. And I liked these little ribbons, but I thought they would look really cute if I filled them in with something instead. So I decided to take this butter bling. It's a really nice blue one, but I find these butter blings really easy to paint detailed work with, such as like these little ribbons. Also, I'm using my watercolor brush to do this just because I was too lazy to go get another one. Don't do this. You don't want to like be mixing your elements like this, because I very well might have ruined this watercolor brush now. So just don't do it. Can we please have a little bit of an applause for me actually remembering to top gloss this nail before I went in with sugar? I feel like that's such a battle for me for some reason, but I did remember to top gloss this nail before I went in for sugar, and that's my warning to you guys to make sure that you do it, because it's a pain in the butt to try and do it after. So after I have top glossed it twice, I'm going to go in with a detailer brush and just add some top gloss accents kind of surrounding the flower nails. This way, when I put the sugar on top of it, there's just gonna look like there's a little bit of snow sitting on these tropical flowers. I thought that would look so pretty, and I actually really liked how this turned out. I might have to do this with some actual like floral nails, I think, or not actual floral nails, but like actual Christmas floral nails. I think that'll look super pretty. I did show my tips on sugaring in my 5 tips video that I posted a couple days ago, so make sure you go watch that out if you have any questions on how I do sugaring. But all I'm doing now is just brushing off the excess after I have cured it. We're going to go in with some different Swarovski crystals, so I wanted some that match the coral and the turquoise colors that I'm using. And on the ring finger is where I wanted to do the Swarovski crystals, and I love doing Swarovski crystals up the corner of like an almond shaped nail, but for some reason I wasn't really liking how this was turning out on this particular nail. I apologize, this kind of went out of focus here, you guys, but once I got some more crystals down, I realized I didn't like it going up the nail, and I just ended up taking them all off and decided to just have my little corner cluster that you guys see all the time in my videos. I love having little corner crystal clusters. I think it just adds a really nice pop to the nails. You guys know how I like to alternate different colors, so because her ring finger on the other hand is this really pretty coral color, I'm going to go in with the turquoise crystals. I also decided to add a little bit of this blue crystal here as well, which is called Light Sapphire, and then that way I've got my turquoise and my blue elements that will coordinate with the water nails that we decided to do as well. So the big crystal in the center is an SS20. We're going to go in with some SS12s, some SS9s, and some SS7s to kind of create this look. Lastly, I'm going to add some Swarovski crystal centers to my snowflakes, and because they're sitting on a blue background, I'm going to go in with the coral crystals. And to fix this present nail, I am going to add a crystal in the center of it as well. So our last step is to just top gloss all these nails, and they are good to go. I love top glossing over top of these like water effect nails because you can really see the depth and dimension at this final finish step. I also like to suggest to do 2 layers over top of any of your stamping. That way if you have any separation, it'll kind of fill it in. And the top gloss that I've been using lately is my Ugly Duckling No Wipe. I went back to it and I have been pleasantly surprised with how well it's been sealing over my stamping lately, thankfully, because I was really struggling for a while there at the beginning of this Christmas series. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed the process of seeing how Tropical Christmas came to be here. I really liked how this turned out, and the really fun aspect of this is my client was actually headed for a tropical vacation, so it worked out perfect for her nail design. Make sure you head on over to Sarah's channel and see what she came up with for Tropical Christmas theme. I really look forward to seeing how she put this design all together. Make sure you guys come back tomorrow for another Vlogmas video. 2 days from now, we'll continue this series. Follow me on all of my social media, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!